Untouchable, uncrushable. Untouchable, uncrushable. Untouchable, uncrushable. Untouchable, uncrushable. Down, face down. You know the routine.
Good evening and welcome to another episode of Pan and Zoom. I'm your host, Satie Gossett. And here on Pan and Zoom, we talk to creatives about being creative. Now, we have a wonderful special guest. Some of you may know him from wonderful works like Deer Hunter and Hair, amongst other things. John Savage, actor, singer. Thank you for coming on board.
Oh, thank you for letting me come.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, here on Pan and Zoom, like I said, we talk to creatives about their craft, you know, how they got their start, what was their aha moment, you know.
My aha moment was about 4 years old.
Okay.
And I was already hearing beautiful music. I was a premature baby, and I didn't really mature fast enough. I was in oxygen tents most of the time. And my mom and dad, I was in an incubator for polio. After that, an iron lung. And so my world was, sometimes I'd see the parents and stuff with my mother singing. And I loved it. I love music inside me anyway. So the singing started first in those enclosed environments. And I got treated to books, which I loved.
You remember what she sang?
Well, she was an opera singer.
Oh, wow.
So I got interested, but didn't really know how to sing Italian or German and French until later. And I had a great teacher help me out when I was young, too. She was friends with them, a man and woman, and a wonderful Italian couple. And after I started, singing in church a little bit, and I was young, but the singing was part of my life. And I loved it. I didn't know how to think about it. And a lot of times, I guess I was driven to finding something else to bring expression up. And I was kind of shy then, no more. But the music and words were coming together very soon in church next to her. My mom had a beautiful voice. My dad was just big, and he had a big voice. And he wasn't really a good singer, but he was grateful, for my mom. So he sang, and that was just so good and fun. And one day we were actually in a Catholic church because I used to say deformed church, because it was very liberal, and we were all treated the best as kids in that church. It was all about us. And so there we would go because we moved in order to move to a new house that wasn't finished in Levittown. When that became a nickname too for the town with Leave It Town. But it was a real thrill for them too. Conservative Republicans everywhere. President was a military leader who was really kind of smart, good guy from the image I got, and yet the same beginning of more desire maybe for people who lived through 2 world wars and a police action war, which they demonstrated against years after. I witnessed some of that. There was this time for growth, a car for $300, brand new. A new house, $3 or $4 grand. They were big, nice places for me. They all looked alike at that time, Levittown. But we were meeting people on the way to getting into our home. People from the Jewish community. My mom would go to Jewish picnics, or we go to Catholic. And then we ended up in Catholic church, and there was a lot of diversity in the Catholic church. I liked it, meeting people who were Italian, Irish, this, that, other stuff. And I was young still. a lot of different good food, and we were Republicans, and I enjoyed the new kids in neighborhoods. I didn't mix much with other kids as a young boy. I was quiet. Oh, I got to sing in that Catholic church. And
you were in the choir?
Huh?
In the choir?
No, they came up to my mom and wanted her to join the choir. And she said, no, thank you. Do something with him. And they put me into a boys' choir. I don't know if it was the name of the choir or St. Killian's. I think that was more of a leaning towards the professional choir. I got exposed to that, but it wasn't part of my thing, I don't think. And we sang, and I would get a solo maybe after some things, and I was really happy. And the solo in Latin, which I didn't speak, but I sang as if I did know it while I was singing with my mother. So I'd get a little correction after singing, and I'd listen to what it sounded like. So that was fun at that level.
Well, it sounds like it was like a precursor for what was to come, when
It was
started acting.
Well, they started to bring me into their home a year or two later to teach show tunes. A couple of years after that, I was into off-Broadway shows with my teacher, Ben Arrigo, helping me audition. He'd play the keyboard while I was singing. I got into off-Broadway, and then some of those were union shows, and a few years later, he got me into a Broadway show.
What kind of things did your acting coach teach you as far as like technique?
For singing?
Singing and acting.
Acting, I never learned. I still don't know.
You're just instinctual.
Well, I did get a scholarship to the American Academy because of, I think, the help from my music teacher playing my vocal audition and a little opera. I auditioned for Hair with. I didn't mean to audition.
What do you mean?
But
it was like happenstance?
He came to see the play and invited me out to lunch the next day, then to go to see other people audition. Okay, it's a big deal. I knew what he was doing, but I was happy being in a play, Broadway play. That's what I'm doing. I mean, it's a little frightening. And he's talking about a movie.
Yeah, but the fright keeps you focused.
Does it ever?
Right.
And the thing was, I didn't want to play a hippie.
Why not?
I had nothing against hippies. They were my friends.
Why didn't you want to play a hippie?
Because the image in the Broadway show, which I went to 4 or 5 times, but it was so disturbing to see that group of young people isolated into that group of...
And how they were treated, yeah.
And how they behaved.
Right.
Because they weren't alone. We had so many different areas of our community that were connected to wanting change.
I wanted to clear something up. Bukowski.
Claude Hooper, if you don't mind.
I think he's Bukowski in the film. They call him Claude Bukowski.
Claude Hooper Bukowski, yeah.
Was there any reference to the writer? Was that an ode to the writer?
It's from that. I mean, these guys were ripping people.
Okay, so I mean, that's what I felt, but I wanted to ask you.
And it was their idolation of really great writers.
Right.
And, or their mind, people that made an effect. I mean, my dad gave me 2 books, the James Baldwin book, which was banned, still is. I have it somewhere, I hope.
He said James gave it to him personally.
I don't know. He went to the bar with younger guys to drink and saw beautiful actresses, and that bar was in a play that was written, a play that was at the downtown L.A. theater, the big bank that's been transferred. Oh, my God, and it blew me away. And the character of James Baldwin, which he may have met, was in this story of all of these artists that went to that black bar. And my father and his friends went there. I don't know before the war, but after the war, he took my mother to it, and she was thrilled. She was a singer as a young person. She studied opera and sang in opera. But the music in that bar was played live, people drinking and singing great music, beautiful black girls, women, famous people now. And my dad loved it. And he was a basketball guy. I mean, his friends were young kids when he started playing with them in Long Island and Islip. After the war, he brought me to meet one man. I don't know if he was the only survivor. They went to Europe, most of those young men. He was in the Pacific. And this young man, he finally brought me to Islip to visit his home at a point. And actually we went to a pizza place that had one table or two tables, not even and they sat there and I sat over there. And they were talking. You know, and my dad eventually had men come to our house in Levittown. And it was for the drinking, yes or no, and recovery. Everybody served somewhere. A lot of women served, now more than ever. And also just because of the men's recovery and they're going through 2 depressions and other stuff, we're doing okay. Till now.
Yeah. I mean, that's another conversation.
No, I don't want to even worry about that right now. I'm really enjoying myself right now. At my age now, I don't have to be happy all the time. I'm getting that now. But I do have joy right here. Yeah.
Yeah, and we can learn from people like yourself, you know, the difference between happiness and having joy. Everyone has a choice on which coat they want to ride.
I'm watching you because I'm getting something from it, but it's up to you to rest.
Well, I have plenty to give, and we have it on Pan and Zoom. I just did that. But I wanted to get back to hair, and I wanted to talk to you about that experience of, you know, the shoot working with Milos Forman, Twyla Tharp, you know, Treat Williams, Beverly D'Angelo.
Blessing.
You know, what was it like as an ensemble? How you guys vibed off each other? Because there's some crazy. I rewatched it, and there's some crazy set pieces in there that I forgot about. Especially the ending. I totally forgot about the ending. And like, you know, what that piece said about war, you know, and, you know, you were in not one, but 2 pieces. And we'll get to the next one after I talk to you about.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like that was a real gift.
Yeah.
I mean, he invited me to see, after seeing American Buffalo, he came backstage. And wow, I knew him from his Czech films.
Okay.
I loved his Czech films regarding young people watching tanks come down the street. The issues we share a lot with other countries from our different perspectives, as there are in a lot of countries. But the emotions that were backing up this desire to see this correction were based on the discovery of so many people affected in different areas. As a young beginning alcoholic, hanging out in bars, didn't get pot, didn't understand it. But I was amazed by some of the real creative effort going on, spiritually connected. Okay. I felt that a lot in my own participation in church.
It almost felt like you're
a
vessel in the film.
I was what?
A vessel in the film.
A vessel.
You know, like you're kind of on like a hero's journey.
Yeah. Ooh, good.
And you're just kind of going through not only the issues. I
didn't fit anywhere.
Yeah, but that was kind of the point.
Right. Yeah.
You know, and not only the issues about the anti-war stance, but also
that's helped me a lot in my work.
The classist statements, you know, the bourgeoisie versus the working class, and, you know, when Beverly D'Angelo's character, Sheila, I think her name was, right? And, you know, where she came from and how she ingratiated herself.
Great actress.
Into what you guys were doing. You know, it spoke a lot of different volumes.
And she's a very comic actress, too, very funny.
No, she's very funny.
Yeah. It's just, and Treat was like a real gang leader.
Yeah.
Well,
the one word that came up with Treat was hubris.
Hubris, he had hubris.
Yeah, because
he had a lot of different hubris with people.
Because in the end, he kind of played himself into that situation.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, he married one of our girls in the movie, and they worked together. And a beautiful family. So he contributed a lot. And this acting business can really, like the musical. I mean, I listened to musicals since day one. Carousel, John Red. Oh, Jesus. As a kid, that was so powerful, so moving. You can have fun with a son, but you gotta be a father to a girl. My little girl. Shit. I learned a lot as a boy.
Yeah, you sang in Hair too.
I did, which
It was great.
I was lucky.
You know,
I got away with it.
and you did it. And how did you feel about the response from the film? What kind of energy did you get back? Because that almost set you up for your next kind of big.
It came right away.
Yeah.
I was working on both of them at the same time.
Were you? You working on them concurrently?
Very confusing to the directors.
Interesting.
But they hired me, and I didn't care. It's not my problem. I'm having a ball.
Yeah.
I'm serving in the military, and I'm against it. But I'm actually Indian. But I'm not.
So you jump from Claude to Stevie. I guess same type of character, and like in the beginning, it's your wedding, but you guys are all shoving off in a couple days.
Oh, great actors.
And yeah, just the caliber of actors: Meryl Streep, De Niro, Chris Walken, Cazale. What was it like?
Good actors around.
And, yeah, me too. They make your job easier.
Tell me about it.
What was that like working with all those guys and Michael Cimino?
Well, I grew up with a lot of veterans.
Mm-hmm.
First World War, Korean War, Second World War. Different groups of families going through their own alcoholic recovery. Alcoholism was not good for my mother. But it had been working for my dad's family for years. There was all athletes, really good athletes, very strong, competitive women, men.
Mm-hmm.
My dad had 2 moms. They both left my grandpa. Tough to live with alcoholics, but smart if you find a wealthy option.
Right.
And they both did, both mothers of my dad's family. My dad didn't really have a mother or a dad. My dad was work and drink. My grandpa.
Well, how did that affect you and your kind of...
Exactly.
And what part of that did you bring to your work?
I blame all of my shortcomings on that.
Right.
Except it doesn't work. It's really...
Well, it's a hard short-term fix.
It's a short-term fix that if you don't fix it, you got to deal with it.
Yeah.
And you'll find out that the sticking to a healthy attitude, number one, your ego gets too big. So you ruin a lot of opportunities.
Right.
You don't know who to ask for help or how.
Or if you're worthy to ask for help.
Or if you're worthy.
Yeah. But I wanted to circle back to Deer Hunter, and there's some intense emotional scenes in there. And how do you navigate that? And how do you step out of it after you're done? Because I know you guys...
A lot of people walk out of their own experience
like
in films like that.
Like the Russian roulette scene when you're in Vietnam.
There was no such thing in most of the activity. Nobody knew anything about that. That was a drama thing.
But still, you got to go to that emotional place.
Exactly.
And did you have a process of doing that? Or did you just I'm there?
I felt...
Because you watch...
For what I grew up having around me. What is he having? He was calm all the time. My dad.
Mm-hmm.
My grandpa was very quiet and humble and guilty. But he had to work hard. His wife he loved a lot. both of them left. And he was a champion athlete as a young man. Champion runner, breaking records, doing all kinds of stuff, and then drinking. And yet he worked at jobs that were difficult. He was in the First World War, and that was gas. A trench dug facing only one direction with 20,000 men, and like the Belgian thing before it, German troops lined up not far away. They had guns, they had long-range weapons, but they didn't use them. They just opened cans of gas for 20 miles.
Wow.
And everybody died on vomit in my grandpa's time. There was probably shell firing and other stuff like that. But he said, no. I said, how did you live to him as a boy? Because I knew my mother told me everything. My grandpa and my dad didn't care for that. They needed that.
So by hearing these stories of your predecessors and how they survived actual war, were you able to channel that in the pieces you were doing?
Probably, yeah.
You know, whether you're cognizant of it or not.
My mother too.
Yeah.
She flipped out after a while drinking. She couldn't. It was not good for her.
Mm-hmm.
So I got sober. Finally, I set a date because I still feel I need to work a lot more on this. I'm doing all the talking right now. If you hadn't noticed.
No, I mean I'm bobbing and weaving, getting it in there.
Yeah, you're very good at that, actually. I watch you. What's his name? Glenn.
Yeah.
Who spoke so many great stories that as a young person, that's what I wanted.
Well, you're telling some good stories too.
Well,
and that's why people watch, because they want to hear what's behind what you're doing.
I started out as a kid working off Broadway, or in theater plays in school.
And all these moments in your craft lead you to these opportunities and serendipity that put you in these wonderful positions to work with these legendary actors and creators.
Oh God, yeah.
And whether you want to acknowledge it or not, you're one of them, and you inspire a lot of people with your work. You've done over 200 pieces, last count, and you're probably going to keep working. And
I want to talk about all of them. I mean,
well, we only have 5 minutes left.
Oh, I can't remember anything. Hell.
So I wanted to talk to you about this moment here.
Oh, yeah. Well, I love that blown up picture.
Yeah.
That deserves...
relationship with Spike and...
Spike.
From the beginning, you were in Do the Right Thing. You're the Larry Bird guy who ran over Giancarlo's Jordan.
Right. Rapizi Munso and I started working with Spike's people to help them do their job when they got there, to people they could see and places they could go safely, and children we set up to be, work safely, and hard raps and his folks. I worked for them. I worked with them for years, all over, with meeting great people. I met one guy who head of the Tswana Nation and dean of the South African University, a tall, wonderful gentleman, turned out to be the father-in-law of a young girl who married my son.
Oh, wow.
And yet the mother left him to go teach with her 2 doctorates she got, having moved from the Tswana enslaved community before her in West Virginia. Pretty sure, 1,000 community that helped with development of the Black Church or Black Baptist, maybe, the women, and they were very religious. She split to get an education, and she got it, and she came together with other women in her communities of relationship with the spiritual growth, but also for urban anthropology, the study of how people move in America, in other places, what they get through, from where do they come from, the breaking up of the different parts of culture and what they face. Some won, some lost, or whatever. But people keep growing, keep coming together, whether we think they are or not. They are. And there's development that's not talked about as much now.
Yeah.
And growth.
Can you talk about how you facilitated Mr. Mandela? It's
Now, I keep forgetting what I'm doing. Actually, I met Mr. Mandela through Rapizzi.
Mm-hmm.
And I was real conservative with my wife. I met his wife first. The house I was introduced to, I did activities with other people connected to functions that she was involved with at her house. And I got jumped. There's a lot of kids that grew up on actually white plantations who are probably outnumber the family of whites by thousands.
Mm-hmm.
The whole community of this tribe, that's their land.
Right.
But they live it and work it and live on it. But they are trained that those, they were called liberals, and those people looking for advance, we're going to lose this farm. So they had organized into gangs to attack people doing demonstrations involved with it. And one was a car stop of all the highway cars, all the cars on roads on one day. And I'd been down in an area of Soweto, and whoop, I got stuck, and the car stopped. And I saw the boys running through traffic, challenging people or banging on windows or running around ready to attack. They were boys from those farms.
Wow.
And I was warned about that, stay away from it. But the ANC, PAC, and Zapo and other folks had trained their teenagers for years, too, how to protect those of us who are stupid but get caught. And they were running around helping cars or chasing boys away. I got out of my car and stopped to get a school bus, a van with little kids in it, to realize they could get into the hospital parking at Baragwanath. And as I'm outside that, a kid comes running up behind me and stands straight and is starting to say something in his language, and he's got a rock in his hand. I just turned around, and I took a clock in the back of the head. My head's fine.
Oh, wow.
But I fell and knocked all my teeth out.
We are running short.
And those boys helped me.
Yeah.
Took care of everything. And that was the beginning of what I began to see so much of in South Africa, and it's still going on.
Yeah. We are running short of time, so we got to wrap this up. But it's been a pleasure to have you on this show.
Wow, God.
And this has been pretty historic.
The last full measure of devotion, the last full measure.
I'm going to check it out.
Please.
And thank you for coming and watching this episode of Pan and Zoom. And until then, keep on filming.
Untouchable, uncrushable. Untouchable, uncrushable. Untouchable, uncrushable. Untouchable, uncrushable. Down, face down. You know the routine.